Money don't get everything is true, but what it don't get I can't use. I need money. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Welcome back to the MBH podcast. We're here today with our two guests, Stefan and Conrad Calabrese.
Wow.
What's good?
Cheers to that. Cheers to that.
Fire this up. Get a sip.
Okay. Quarantine special.
Quarantine.
Appreciate you guys coming out.
Of course. Always. We actually had a bet on who was wearing a mask.
Yeah. Oh yeah. we had.
Yo, Dean, did you say you were gonna wear a mask?
Yeah, man, I'm excited to have you guys because I think there's a lot to talk about. You guys, you touch upon a couple of different industries. Yeah. People love that shit.
100%.
You guys are doing some really cool, exciting shit. So, I mean, we can probably just get right into it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you guys introduce yourself, so
yeah,
come on.
please do.
Do you want to start?
Oh, you're good at this part.
I mean, okay, I'm wow. I'm Stefan, one of two Calabrese brothers, as most people just call us.
Yeah.
I don't know what there is to say. I mean, we work in nightlife, do a lot of music stuff as well.
How old are you guys?
I am 20. Wow, I have to think about it. 26.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't even know.
I missed my birthday due to quarantine. Thank you.
Exactly.
But yeah, just again, like do a lot in the nightlife, music, entertainment space. That's really where I see myself wanting to be in the future, and just kind of, taking the path as far as it'll go to see where it ends up in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your current businesses? I know you guys have the nightclub and the studio as well.
Yeah, so I would say like our main business is Door 3, the nightclub. Outside of that, we have the studio, which like as of late, it's kind of taken a little bit more of a backseat just because, we had some other focuses that we kind of had to figure out.
Yeah.
But the studio's there. Again, we run concerts and one-off events where we can. And then obviously I make music as well. And it's still technically a business. It's going to be a business, but right now it's not businessy. It's not registered.
It's a brand.
It's a brand. Exactly.
Straight up.
Okay, cool.
Maybe we almost skipped you, bro. We almost skipped you, man.
I mean, what's hilarious is that most of my answers are going to be pretty much the same as his.
Yeah,
we live kind of parallel lives, but we both went to Ryerson. We both got business degrees. It's a little bit of backing also. Cool. Same thing. Door 3 is more the nightlife side of things. Uncrowned is the music side on the event side. And then obviously our music studio is called Crendon Studios. And then Jet Set is the man sitting in front of me right now who is the person on the music side.
So I want to start this off because I don't really know if I ever asked you this question or asked you guys this question, but like Jet Set, the music side of it, because I know a little more, and we'll get into the promotion stuff, but just with the music side of it, like how'd that even come to be? Where'd that come from?
So I was in high school and I downloaded FL Studio, and I was making beats at the time. Then my name on YouTube was Beats by Calabrese at the time.
Oh shit!
That's the archives. Go search it up. I don't even know if it's up there.
A lot of people, I don't even know why your Instagram name is Calabrese, and that's like
which I always wanted to ask you too, because I was like, what the fuck?
People always think it's Stefan Calabrese and Conrad Calabrese.
So that was like my high school nickname. Everyone on the basketball team, they got like ooh ending. So Jelani was Jaloo. Okay. Khalil Washington was Kalu.
I like him.
Yeah, Dwayne was Do, and then we were in English class. We were English class. Me and Jelani, who was one of the kids on the team, and our teacher was like, "Hey, Jelani, like who do you want to be in your group?" He's like, "Oh, sir, I'll be with Calabrese," and that's the first time he said it. And my teacher was like, "Who the fuck? What the fuck is Calabrese about?" And he's like, "Yo, Brew in the back," and that's where it came from. So like that's where. My first music kind of started in high school. I was making beats. Beats by Calabrese was like I said, the name in a sense. And then I started making beats for one of the kids that I went to school with. Again, under Calabrese, I started singing on his hooks. Built up my own name as kind of like a artist as well in that sense, was writing and singing.
So
my
you
choruses.
were producing first though?
Yeah, I was producing first. Cool. I kind of stopped producing because my laptop died.
I was about to say, so when he used to produce, we had a computer that we fried the battery just because I don't even know what
You know what it was? Back in the day, there was something called YouTube Train.
Okay.
And it would get your YouTube videos more views by watching other people's videos.
Okay.
So I would leave my laptop in charge all night, but running the YouTube Train.
And watching just different videos.
So the battery just zapped.
Like anytime you'd unplug the charger, basically the laptop shut down.
So we couldn't use it.
So I even remember this a couple times where like I would unplug the laptop and my brother would just snap. He'd be like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like,
Trying to get the views.
You guys are manipulating the views.
Okay, like I mean, I have a question because I've known you guys for a while and you guys have always been one.
Yeah.
Right? So when he started with the music and producing, what did you think about that and what kind of stance did you take on it? Did you automatically start saying, I want to help him?
Yeah, so I think what a lot of people don't know, I actually started off I was a photographer for them. Fuck. Yeah, my bad.
Technical difficulties.
That one there. Yeah, other way. Just give him a hand.
There's another.
No, like,
You're good.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. I actually used to be a photographer for them. So I was taking a bunch of their content.
I had no idea.
To be honest, Kevin G still has my camera. Kev, I'm coming for you.
Shout out Kevin G.
Yeah, so basically, I got a camera for Christmas, I think it was, and then I would just follow them around, take a lot of their behind the scenes content. They already had a video guy that was doing their music videos and stuff like that. But yeah, I love the industry. Obviously, I like all the work that goes into it. It's it interests me and challenges me. So I was like automatically down to hop on board. But I just played like more of a behind the scenes role at first, and then that was kind of my position at the time. But then obviously as things grew and stuff like that, I just became more and more involved, and then was on more of the decision making side of things and just kind of taking it from there.
Yeah, I mean, like it's cool because you guys, I guess that was maybe your start of working together technically. Almost, right?
Yeah, that was.
Like, I remember. So even because and this will get, I guess, a little bit even further. But there was a point where I looked at the guy who I was making music with before, and I said, "We need to run shows. We should do concerts." And he was a little bit more reserved. Again, he was the one rapping. Like he was making the music. A lot of people knew him, but I was the one who was doing the work on the back end, mastering blogs, building relationships, applying for shows. Yeah, you know what I mean. I was the one who was really pushing it forward. So. Like at the time, and I don't want to take credit for the stuff that we did because obviously we did it together. Like me, Raz, and Conrad. I said his name. I didn't mean to, but
hey, shout out.
But at the time, I was like, hey, we need to do shows because again, shows for me were a way to not only meet people. You can make a little bit of money, but it also gave us a platform for content and the music. So I looked at him, I said, I want to do these shows. He's like, you know what? Like, I don't really think that this is what we should do. And I looked at him, I said, I'm going to do these on my own. Like, I don't really care.
Yeah. So like you saw the importance of putting stuff out there right away. And that's something I want to touch upon too, because you're not scared to put your stuff out there, which a lot of people are.
100%.
A lot of people are doing their thing behind the scenes and whatever, but they're scared to take that step and put it out there. You kind of realize 100%. That right off the go. You're like, no, that's what people are paying attention to.
Yeah,
that's the way I can grow my network and grow my following for my music.
And that was a big thing too, because when you run these, we still run shows, but like at the time, I didn't know the amount of people that I know now.
Yeah.
So instantly when we ran the shows, it was another 6 artists. Let's just say if there was 7 people on the show, with those artists, they all had their own teams. They all had producers, they had photographers, they had a manager, they had whoever. So I was able to meet not only these artists, but their circle.
Yeah.
And then once the shows started becoming bigger, people would reach out to us and say, hey, I'm from this blog, or I
love what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I love what you guys are doing. I'd love to get involved.
Well, that's a huge thing too. Like, I think what we did too back in the day, not too back in the day, but we kind of mimicked what we did for events, and you took it and you said, let's use that for the concerts now.
100%.
Right? So now it's like you're not getting 10 promoters, you're getting 10 artists.
Exactly.
Yeah, but all at the same time though.
And you're meeting all of them now, and now all these people are they're loyal to you because he gave me a spot on that show.
Yeah, 100%.
So now these teams are kind of at your disposal because you put trust in them, they put trust in you.
Yeah.
And that's how you start to grow that network.
But at the same time, you guys are promoting, right?
So the shows came first.
The shows came first.
The shows came first.
Oh shit!
But what happened was our shows used to be once a year.
Yeah.
So the first show was at 550 Queen Street, which is now Simon Says. It was a place called Nocturne, grungy venue, looked like a dungeon. It was
Was it After Hours place?
It was like
It was like underground,
Like
like
gothic,
goth.
gothic shit. Gothic
yeah,
shit. Yeah, I
like
remember
fuck
that.
shit.
I remember
With
that.
stripper pole, like not even stripper poles, like cages.
Yeah.
Crazy
shit.
like nuts.
I think like one thing to note too is like the reason why we started Underground is because again it was very hard for people to accept my brother on shows just because again like at the time the stage they were at there wasn't really much to show for it.
And like also being a kid, I mean, again, not to whatever, but being a white kid from Vaughan, from the suburbs, trying to make hip hop, R&B, pop.
You're not
music.
compared to the rest of
People
the
are
crowd.
like-
Like,
Yeah,
you're not
and there was a
compared-
lot of people who
fuck
literally
is
looked
this
and said,
guy?
"How serious is this guy?" You know,
Yeah,
like-
but that's an important step too. Like besides that, you said, okay, I want to do shows. I probably can't be in the be opening up for Gunna or like shit like that. But I'm gonna make my own show then.
100%.
Yeah.
Fuck
and
it.
that's literally what it was, and that's why.
And that was like your step into entrepreneurship where
Yeah,
you're like, I'm doing
100%.
things on my own.
Yeah, I like that you guys were just like, yeah, fuck it, no one's gonna put me on a show.
Yeah, and
okay,
Like,
fuck
the
it,
thing
I'm
is
here.
too, yeah, like obviously like the music industry is known for being a little bit dirty too, and like there were so many people that had platforms that were using it for the wrong reasons, and like me and my brother really looked at it like the opportunities that my brother were given. It's just like you could see that there was no authenticity, there was no there was no like hard.
Well, it would be paid to play. There was no effort being put in.
Yeah, exactly.
So even again, like something to know, when we started doing the shows, we did a photo shoot for everyone.
Yeah.
So
I
everybody
remember
had
that. I
content.
remember all of
You know
that.
what I mean?
That was
Like,
amazing.
man.
And
That's
like
huge.
you guys were so ahead of everyone else in that sense because and I saw it too. I saw people coming up with the same concept that you guys came up
Yeah,
with and trying to do it,
literally.
but they couldn't do it because that wasn't their concept.
I seen a lot of people.
Like, they just
shall remain nameless.
You know, it just looked the same from the cover, but when you were there, like I don't like going to concerts too much. To be honest,
and not a lot of people do.
I don't like going to concerts too much, but I've been to a lot of your shows, and it's a vibe.
There's an energy,
There's an energy. No, there's an energy there, and it might be 300 people, might be 400 people, but like there's an energy in there that's like you don't feel that when you're at a show at the ACC,
Especially local, even locals.
But even like I've been to other ones too.
Yeah.
Like, you performed there, I've been there, and they've been dead.
Yeah.
It's because there's no love behind it.
or they invite you to perform and you guys show up with the whole crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the biggest thing too. It's like when you have 6 people that all have the same intention, the same drive, and you're all working towards one common goal. It's going to be good for sure. But, when you have 6 people that are not on the same page whatsoever, that are all over the place, and everyone just kind of feels uncomfortable and there's no real synergy. Yeah. I think like that's the thing. Like a lot of the shows that were there, it was just all a scramble. Like you'd walk into a room, you wouldn't really know anybody. You hadn't been
Shitty
given
venues.
Like we go to your guys' shows and it's just like, oh fuck, the whole everyone's
everyone's
together.
here. Yeah, exactly.
And it's amazing because like that's something I really believe in because you go to those crazy concerts with like 40,000 people.
Yeah.
Promise you like 30,000 people don't even know who the person performing is.
They're just there with their, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
but-
So
but-
it's the same thing. I look at the way people have a network. Is that network loyal?
Yeah.
And okay, you have 20,000 followers, but who actually gives a fuck about you?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly,
So
exactly.
you guys took that step and you're like, no, these are our people, and we want to have a good time with them every time,
100%.
and I want to keep coming.
And your first shows, like compared to obviously the ones that I've been to later on, because I didn't go to your shows for a while, and when I came to them, they were already popping. Like I walk in the door and there's like tons of people, like tons of fucking people turning up, whatever, and there's good energy. But I can imagine, just like anybody starting something new, especially if you guys weren't in the promoting side of it yet, like they were probably a little emptier.
You know what?
But
Okay,
you guys
so
are-
that
Hey,
first show
assumption,
it was a smash. Like
Yeah?
it was a small venue, you know.
The thing is, I think we always kind of knew what our capabilities were, and we always just stayed comfortable.
You never did a show like let's do 5,000.
Exactly. Yeah, we knew that like right off the bat. Again, Nocturne was. Okay, I'm not.
We probably did like 140 people at first.
Yeah,
show.
140, 150.
Which is
And for
amazing.
that-
That's a fucking
with
smash.
6 artists on a local show, like I would
That's
think
a smash. That's a smash.
Yeah, and I think again, going back to what you were saying about like your network, like we were always people that people liked, and like not to say that in an arrogant way or whatever, but it was just like we were able to build genuine relationships with people.
Yeah,
And I think it's also like an innocence. Like it's like I have the best intention for this platform and for what we're trying to
100%.
do.
You know what it is
It was
too. Like
authentic.
you guys have like when you guys started, you started off in a certain industry, but then you guys
Branched out.
started going into all these industries. Now, as a person who knows you, it's like Steph can do so many things for me.
Yeah.
So now it's not that Steph is the singer, Steph is Jet Set, Steph is Door 3, Steph is Steph.
Yeah.
All those other things is things that he can offer me.
Yeah, exactly.
Which the more things you have to offer someone now,
the easier they come
because
in.
now look at it, you did a show. 300 people. Now you gave them an after party. Now you gave all the artists content because you have all these resources to do it.
100%.
They're looking at the whole picture and they're saying,
This makes sense.
this is Steph.
But the
That's
thing is,
Steph.
they're going to say anything I want to do involving people, I can probably hit up the Calabrese brothers and they'll know what the fuck I gotta do.
Because you've shown them over time.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's a huge thing I want to bring up.
Just for perspective, for perspective, like what year is day one?
The first show at Uncrowned was May 28th, 2015.
Like, you know what I mean? That's 5 fucking years of hard work.
That's hard work. And people think they can go into it and right away.
And again, that's like, that's on so many things. That's event throwing. That's, management. That's getting content together. Like, it was so much more than just... That was in a sense, again, it was the start of like entrepreneurship. It's like, okay, we made a little bit of money here. And, we got a little bit of attention. I remember after that first show, again, it wasn't crazy. It was 150 people.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever work, sorry, just cut you off. Did you guys ever work like regular people jobs, like not
the golf.
So we worked at a golf course.
Mic up a bit.
And go like into a middle.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
We worked at a golf course we were there for 7 years. Basically, I was 13 years old when I started working there, and it was the summer. Okay. And basically, my brother did not want to work at a golf course. He was adamant the fact
No. We're stubborn. We're stubborn. My mom.
Yeah. Your last name's Calabrese, right?
Exactly.
What the fuck you think you're gonna be?
Our mom said, go work at a golf course. And I was like, I don't like golf. I don't know anything about golf. Why am I gonna go work at a golf course? I started handing out applications to Tim Hortons, Highland Farms.
Oh, wow.
Just like,
you didn't even want to do golf at all.
I was just like, if my mom told me, I'm not going to do it. It doesn't sound
It's more about the principle.
Right? Yeah, I'm stubborn.
Yeah.
My brother one day is like, fuck it. I'm just going to shut this lady up.
Yeah, my mom, she drove me around. I applied for 3 golf courses. Country Club, Clover Creek, and the National, which the National was the best golf course out of the 3. It's one of the best golf courses in Canada. So
this guy's looking for the sponsorship.
Shut up. I charge them for that. But yeah, so I ended up getting a call back from the National. It just so happened that the week before that I applied, somebody got fired. So they were just about to post a job posting to fill that position. And
keep in mind, sorry to interrupt. Yeah. One of the things about golf courses is middle of the season, it's very difficult to find a job.
Yeah.
They do their hiring in February.
It's a seasonal job, so the winters are off. So basically they do
whoever's down to work that is already working.
Yeah, it's already working.
And that's pretty much your team for the year. And the thing is, too, if you're serious about being in the golf industry, that, and that's your desire. So everybody that was working there, actually, it came a little bit later, but the majority of the people that were working there were there to seriously be in the golf industry.
Golf.
Yeah, for the rest of
it's a profession. Like,
for sure.
So passionate about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing is, so I applied. Basically, I didn't know a thing about golf. I never played golf in my life. I was the youngest guy there. I think I worked there for about a week. It was a good job. I got my brother. I looked at a week.
It was a good job.
Yeah. I looked at my boss. I said, "Hey, what are the odds that you can hire my brother?" He's like, "Yeah, just tell him to hand in an application to, and like we'll see what we can do." So he ended up getting hired.
Amazing.
We ended up staying there for 7 years, and I think the biggest thing was we're very hard workers, obviously, but like at the same time, like we expect that the chain of command and stuff like that, like everything has to be done properly if you want to get the best out of us. Yeah. If you don't take your business seriously and if you don't take your operation seriously, then I'm not going to take it seriously. And then that's when you're going to get walked all over from everybody. And so I think that's definitely a skill that we learned that we kind of carried on to like a lot of the other things. But basically after 7 years, it was just getting to the point where it was a little bit messy. And obviously they were hiring new managers, I guess, above us. And the thing about that job is, just because you'd been in the golf industry for 10 years doesn't mean that you're great at this location. Like you could be so knowledgeable about the golf world, whatever. But as far as this operation, if I know this operation inside and out, then your 7 years of experience in the golf industry is not as valuable as my knowledge of this business. I think the biggest thing was there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of headaches. And basically it came to the point where it was, I don't know if we quit or I don't know if we got fired. It was kind of like we walked in a meeting and we're like, so is this happening? And they're like, I don't know. What do you think? And I'm like, I think this is happening. And then,
I think something even to know, something that's valuable to take out of that experience specifically was, I remember when we left the meeting after things had kind of, whether we got fired or quit.
When they went sour,
Yeah, when it went sour, that's a good way to put it. It was a private golf course and it was made up of members that were there every single day. So we had relationships with these members. And I remember looking at Conrad and saying, hey, we should just start calling the members and we'll get our job back. Like, what's the big deal? Right? Like, cause we actually had members calling us, be like, why are you guys not here?
Cause you had relationships with them.
This wasn't done properly today. Like, you're my guy. Like, where are you?
And that's the thing.
Like, you have to talk to the manager because like this guy's acting up right now. And like, we were getting phone calls like, you should be here right now. Like nothing's right. And I'm like, that's just a decision that they made. And like, I got to kind of just take a step back and let things kind of unfold.
So, but again, I think the lesson that I took out of that was Conrad looked at me and said, Steph, if it's not this year, it's going to be next year. Because we don't want to be in the golf industry.
You don't want to be there. Yeah, you know,
at the end of the day.
At that time, basically, what we were doing is we were promoting also for about a year towards the end of us working at the golf course. So we were working, we would go, we'd work at the golf course like 6 days a week.
I remember.
Yeah, so specifically weekends, we would go, like either 6 a.m. till 2 a.m. or 6 a.m. till 4 p.m.
At the golf course.
So at the golf course. And then at nighttime, we'd go out 11 till 3 in the morning and then wake up at 6 a.m. to work. So 2 hours of sleep. We would go and we would give it our all. And the thing is too, like the members saw us and they're like, you look exhausted. I'm like, I'm here, like whatever you need.
Yeah, I've been getting fucking
our service never faulted.
Yeah, exactly. We never made an excuse, number one.
Yeah.
And number two, we were always there. Sometimes, sure, we were 5-10 minutes behind and that would cause a big deal. But it's like, listen, I'm here giving my 100%. Like I don't, not say I don't need to be here because obviously like it's a job and like it's a privilege to work, obviously, especially in times like this where you start to really appreciate kind of what you have. Yeah. But in a sense, it was just like, we would get all this hostility. And I think it was just a little bit of a sourness that, our priorities were, obviously still
we were making more money.
We were making more jobs.
Promoting. Yeah. So that's when the shift happened.
If I'm going to be here at 7:05 and I'm supposed to be here at 7, shut up.
Yeah. Like, dude,
I'm still here and the job's still getting done.
Yeah.
So like, how are you going to bust my balls about 5 minutes? And again, we always make the joke. First of all, we were always the people who would stay late.
Yeah.
If they needed somebody to stay and cover.
If I'm 5 minutes late, but I'm staying an hour extra, like, okay, like you're not going to acknowledge me for my hour extra.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, so when was it then when you guys are like, okay, fuck this golf course? Well, it went sour, whatever, you guys did.
Yeah, so I was, I think, a little bit more of a rebellious person than my brother, and like I get very ticked off easily. And I'm sure everybody at this table can probably so basically I think what happened, we had saved up a good amount of money from promoting, and it literally came to the time me and my brother had to talk, and I said, this is inevitably going to happen in the next little bit. Like, let's just walk away and like, let's just do whatever we have to do with all the respect that we have for them and just say thank you, but like, we're going to try something new. And that's actually when Ernesto at his office and we walked by his office and we saw the space for the studio. And the studio was actually the first thing that we're like, okay, we're going to just do our own thing now. Like,
that was our first like major investment step.
Into something.
It was like, I remember walking in Ernesto's space on Eglinton and seeing the other units and being like, this place looks like Motown. Like our office had like
the hallway.
It was brown.
It looked like a fucking old school. I remember like walking in there, had the classic like school floors and shit.
Yeah, it was like an old building, right?
Yeah.
But
I think another thing to know is, again, like there was never really a point at that time where we were really like, okay, we're doing really good financially. Like we knew how much money we had and we knew how much money it was probably going to take.
That's what I'm saying. Like you guys really, at that point, you guys started realizing like, okay, we're making this much money. This is how much the rent costs. This is how much this is probably going to cost.
Yeah.
That's when you guys took a step and said, oh, fuck, it's on us now. Like, we got to figure this out, right?
I mean, like we had probably like, a stability for about 2 months, 3 months where we're like, okay, after this, like we really got to make sure that we're making some money. And like we went through the numbers, I'd say like 1,000 times where it's just like, okay, this is how much it's going to take. This is what we have to be doing. This is how we're going to hit those numbers.
And even as we were, sorry to interrupt, but even as we were working at the golf course, we would never touch $1 of our promotion money. So our promotion money was banked up and it was extra. And again, it was, I think we kind of made the agreement. We're like, we're going to save this up and we're not going to use it on a trip. We're not going to spend it on bullshit.
But
we're going to use this to better ourselves and better our lives.
This is like the real entrepreneur step when you're like, okay, I'm going to start something. And for you guys, it was a studio and I'm only covered for 2 months or 3 months. After that, I better fucking figure it out. And that's entrepreneurship as a whole, right? It's like you dive in, whether you have funds to carry you for a year, 2 years, or 1 week. Like, you know what I mean? But when you do that, you're like, okay, this is real life.
Yeah, I'm sure to do it. 100%.
I'm sure it hit you guys really quickly.
And I think Steph will probably attest to this. Like, I'm a little courageous when it comes to a lot of this stuff. And
let's do it. Let's fucking do it.
I'm a strong believer in, like, again, I'm extremely confident in myself and my brother's abilities. And I'm like, and the same thing I attest to you guys, like, when you're confident in yourself and you know the skill set you have, when you're put in a situation, you'll figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's what it comes down to.
It's not about the industry. It's not about
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter about that.
That's what you can put me as sales in like a water company.
That's what I'm saying, right? So like it's just more but seriously.
I don't know why that came in my head.
But like I'm one of those guys that I'm willing to dig myself a huge hole and just like in the I know in the back of my head like we'll figure it out, and like I always know that I got him to kind of just bail me out if I make a really stupid decision. So.
And that's what's good too. I'm sure you guys see it similarly as well, but my strengths are my strengths, and when I like, again, he does a lot more admin stuff than I do, not because he's per se better at it, but he can focus on it. He can do that stuff. Whereas I don't really see. I don't enjoy it as much. I mean, granted, he doesn't enjoy it, but like,
that's part of it.
It's like, you know, it's like where I slow down, he picks up, and where he slows down,
I know his strengths and his
that's what's very valuable about a team, right? A lot of people are like, yo, I can go in and do this on my own. And listen, some people have the capability to do it. I'm not saying, you have to have partners, partner, whatever. Like that's totally up to the person, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, a partner in a big way or a partner in a small way, it usually, because there are definitely bad situations, but usually will help, right? If it's the right person, right synergy and stuff. But okay, look, you guys do all of that. Fast forward now to like, I don't know, last year, let's say. You guys are killing it in the promo game. You're doing your thing, right? The music obviously now has popped off more and more people know about Jetset and the brand you guys have built, right? You guys are snapping at promo, like absolutely killing it. So you guys are like, okay, well, let me hop into potential club ownership. So what was the move there? Because I want to know a little about that. And then what I want to know, I want to get into, because we always do with every guest, is the social media side of it and the content side. Because you guys are also killing it there too. So we'll get into that. But I'm just curious now, because for my own sake, how did that happen?
I think the journey really started, like, obviously I was a student at Ryerson, and I just could not care less about what the prof was saying ever. I mean, like, I definitely... I did what I had to do, but I mean, at the same time, like, I definitely wasn't a model student. And like, obviously I graduated and everything like that. I got my business degree, but there was one day I was sitting in class, and I wouldn't pay attention to what the prof was saying, and I would just, scroll the internet and just see what kind is out there. And that's when I saw the ad for Nocturne, which is the first place that we did a concert, that it was for sale. And I just said, okay, like, this would be sick. Like, this is like, has a special place in my brother's heart. Like, this is the first, again, obviously the studio was the first entrepreneurial move that we have, but at the same time, I think the event side, the first event we threw, which was really like us embracing, what we had in a sense, was the concert, obviously. So I just thought, this would be a great opportunity. And again, I looked at mine and my brother's position in the nightlife space, and it was the same thing. Like, I was thinking in my head, if we're actually going to give this a chance, and if we're actually going to do this once and try it out, this is the time that we have to do it.
And I think too, he also, like, again, when we looked at it, we said, okay, promo is going to last so long. Yeah. We don't have a job. We were living very much so promo check to promo check. Yeah.
And we enjoyed the entertainment space.
And exactly.
Me and him, as I'm sure people who have been in the club with us at the same time know that we're naturally, we're very
fun dudes.
We're into it. Fucking lunatics. Sorry, Mac, we're fun guys. But like, I think that was like a big thing. I was just sitting there and again, just really evaluating thank you, sir. Really evaluating kind of like what we had in a sense. And I think that's when I looked and I said, okay, like, let's see if this is feasible. So the first club that we put an offer in was Nocturne, and,
which is now Simon Says.
Yeah, and the thing is, again, like,
shout out GURPS,
shout out Jason. We took our time, because again, we didn't want to rush into a decision that we didn't think that was gonna really make sense for us.
Yeah, and I think, sorry to interrupt, I think another big thing to say was, even outside of just the thirst for moving forward and moving up, we also knew that at the time our numbers were there. So we were doing consistent weekly at Door 3 at the time on Saturdays, 100 people, just me, him, and Ron.
I remember that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It was like consistent weekly booth booking. So we thought to ourselves, okay, if we can fill 100 people here, we've been here for 2 years, we don't really control the space. And we had a couple other guys that we were working with at the time. Maddie was DJing some of our one-off events, and he was bringing a lot of people from Woodbridge. And we thought, okay, like, we actually have the numbers here, and we're bringing the volume of spend that if we had our own place, it would sustain itself. Yeah. So like, aside from just the thirst to do more, it was like, okay, if you look at kind of the numbers in a sense, we know that we can bring X amount a week and bring X amount of revenue.
You were realistic about it.
Yeah, and it's like, again, we weren't going back to, we weren't going to go for a toy box 1,000-person venue. But it's like, okay, a little Nocturne, which again, as Simon Says now, you guys know the capacity is feasible
for sure, or felt feasible.
I think the big thing is too, like, when you actually look at what we had to, it's like, I look at any business and I say, the bigger the impact you have on your own business, the better it's going to do. Obviously, if you have to outsource and pay, if you say, you know what I mean, like, we can play so many roles within our business, and I think that's the key to, again, all the success of, like, between all of our
huge.
portfolio. Like
That's
again,
huge, man.
like
Well,
if
you know it from the bottom up, right? And that's the most important
That's what
part.
I'm saying. Like you could go in like, you know, you could go and be a fucking bottle service girl if you need.
You can be a busboy, you can be a bartender, you can be the door, you can whatever you need, right? Because you've experienced it though.
For sure,
Because you went through it for years and years, and you're like, I know what everyone has to do, and I've done half of it myself.
And,
so
and
I
we
can do
had
it.
the relationships. So I know that's even a big part, you know, about what makes all four of us really special is that I know if I need to call somebody to work promo, or if I need a photographer, or you know, people will come just because they appreciate who we are as people, and we've always tried to do people well, and you know, it goes back a lot.
That's over
to
time.
that.
That's like
You build that.
How many people have come up to you guys and just be like, how the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
How the fuck do you know this many people? How the fuck did you fill this room right now? Like, tell me, I want to. And you're like looking at them and you're like, buddy, you know how long this took? You know,
And it is what it is. Some people have
but it happened naturally. You never look back at it and be like, holy fuck, how did I just fill that room with? You never think about that.
Exactly. The thing is too, like I remember even like again when the three of us were promoting, it's like if there was a slow night, I know who to call to fill a room. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you know, it's not like it's gonna be a bad night because it's slow, but the energy that that we had and stuff like that.
Yeah, you
like,
knew that like, hey, you could call that guy or that guy or girl like an hour before you needed them.
In a snowstorm and this and that, whatever
and
it was on a
if
holiday.
They could, they would make
and 100%. And it's like, you know, if desperation ever came, it's just like, I know how to bail myself out of a situation. And like, it was the same thing. I think that's the big thing. Like on our worst day, are we going to be able to make it out? And it's just like, if you can answer that question confidently and say yes, it's like, okay, I think we should go for this.
That's a big piece of entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
Is that knowing that like, hey, even on the worst day, can we still make this happen? And you're like, okay, well, we could do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so now, you guys are doing your thing. Okay. Nocturne, it doesn't go your way, obviously. GURPS fucking.
Shut up,
Jason, my fucking guys.
You're the homies. So they stole it from you. Okay, so now door three, how, when, where?
So basically, there was one night. It was a pretty busy night at door three, and basically the previous owners, like they were moving on to other things. And basically, one day he just came downstairs. And he's like, honestly, man, I'm done. He's like, I just can't do this anymore. And some people know who it is, but shall remain nameless. So basically, I look at him, and he didn't know obviously that we were looking for another spot, but like,
and sorry to interrupt, to cut off there. At the time, we were really running the Saturdays at door.
So if we had left,
there would have been
no door.
I remember that.
They would have, you know, on their, especially on their Saturday night, which was their busiest night. So we didn't really tell them. We never really said, hey, by the way.
Because we didn't want to scare them.
We didn't want to scare them.
If there was nothing there, then there was nothing there. And we just want to continue life.
You also didn't want to ruin a relationship for something that you didn't know what was going to happen.
And how some people could take it wrong that you're trying to compete against them now, stuff like that.
Exactly.
So basically what happened is when he came downstairs, I said, okay, if you're done, like, you know, I'll take it off you. And
just like that.
And he's like, he goes, you're not
literally
serious.
just like that.
And he goes, he looked at me, he goes, you're not serious. I'm like, I didn't want to tell you this, but like we had an offer in down the street. I'm serious. Like, you know, let me know what it's going to take and then we'll go from there. He goes, if you're serious, you'll meet me on Tuesday at like 10 a.m. at the club and we'll talk. And I said, okay, I'll see you at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. He goes, you're serious? And I said, yeah, I'm 100% serious. I'm like, okay. So Monday night I text him, I'm like, okay, so tomorrow morning. He goes, okay, yeah, like I guess I'll meet you Tuesday morning. Sounds good. So we met downstairs at the Weed Chief. And then so we just started talking. He gave us a number, and we knew what number we kind of had to hit. And then again, we ended up taking it off. I think that was probably the hardest part of this whole journey was really, you know, gathering the funds and like, you know, putting everything together.
That's what I was going to say as well. So right off the bat, again, you know, we've never come from, you know, a large backing financially. Like our parents both work. You know, my dad's in real estate. He switched industries 10 years ago, and that was like a hard financial hit for the family. My mom works as a flight attendant, which is again, you know, a middle of the line job. You know, so for us, again, working check to check, promotion wise, we had to come up with the money, right?
And the thing is too, like the people we were dealing with are like there was no flexibility. It's like
this is it or that's it.
It's like if you're serious, because I don't know if you're serious. This is the number. Come to me with my deposit, which was an outrageous deposit.
It was a 50% deposit.
50% deposit,
which is unheard of.
I remember you guys.
So I mean, like,
and don't get me wrong.
It was for the best. We learned a lot from that.
We learned a lot.
At the same time, it was like, again, I don't blame him for what he did. It's if you were serious, you will come to me with this, and then we have a discussion. Until you come to me with that, there's absolutely no discussion.
Convo to have.
Because, and you know, it actually did end up happening where, you know, we gave him the 50% deposit. He's like, okay, you guys are serious. We'll sign, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then coming up to the closing date, we needed an extension. Yeah. And he's like, well, what happened to the money? And we're like, oh, well, we're having a hard time getting it together. Yeah. And he's like, you see, this is why I made you pay half 50%. The front. Yeah. Because, you know, if you guys were waiting up until the last day to get 80% of your money, you wouldn't have had a deal.
Yeah, we'd be in.
So he's like, and again,
it was hardball, but
he's a hardball player. Again, we all know who he is, and shall remain nameless. But he's a hardball player.
I'm gonna send him this, and he's gonna watch it. He's waiting for 32 and 30.
Watch between 40 and 47.
Yeah. You know, but and
love him to death.
Again, you know, a lot of people say a lot of things about the previous owners and who we took the business off. They've really been nothing but like great to us. Yeah. You know, they play hardball a lot of times.
Hey, man.
That's how they got to where they are.
That's how they got to where they are.
So
but me and Conrad can never say anything bad about them because they've taken care of us, even to this day. Yeah. Even like, you know, literally up until this week.
Any idea I have, I'll still bounce it by him just because I respect his opinion that much.
And vice versa. Yeah. Like, if they need something that we can help with, we try our best to help. You know, and again, they are a big part of our lives, and then they helped us out a lot. I think we grew up really quickly from November 2018 to now. It's like
I remember having convos with you guys and then post, and shit was different.
Different mentality.
Yeah, but that's the growth, right? I guess that's the growth, and I mean, you know what? Fuck, you probably should thank them for playing hardball with you guys because. Sure. Like now you guys know going forward, like, hey, like fuck, if I want to get rid of Door 3 or I want to sell any business that I have.
You got to protect yourself.
Yeah, you protect yourself first, man. No matter people tend to forget business first, friendship second.
100%.
Right?
Yeah,
always. It should always be like that so no one, feels away after.
And the thing is too, like I've always said this, I said, you always have to be ready for a situation. Like again, even, it becomes very like relevant right now. It's like if Door 3, for example, were to go away today, where would I stand? Where would I stand in the world? Where would I stand financially? How would people view me? What would it be like? You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, that's the thing. Like you have to have the answer. You have to be able to bounce back just in case on your worst day, like I said, it's just like, things are, you're still in a good position where you can sustain yourself in a sense.
Well, I think like with all the things that you guys experienced and all the people that you guys have met and kept relationships with and have gained respect from, I think that gives you that answer that you're confident in. If Door 3 were to close tomorrow, I'll still figure it out.
Exactly.
Because of everything you've already done. Right.
So that, like, we're confident in our abilities. Like we were saying earlier, you can put us in most situations. I would say 95% of situations, and I'm pretty sure all four of us at this table can kind of attest the same for themselves, and we'll figure it out.
And again, that's entrepreneurship as a whole, right? Yeah. If for you guys, if Door was to close, or for us, if neighborhood was to shut our doors tomorrow, right? Yeah. We have the network big enough to tackle another project, another idea.
And it'll be next week.
Quick too.
Fuck, door, I can't open next month. Okay, this is what I'm doing. And everybody will know, and everybody will,
So fast forward, you guys are killing it, absolutely killing it. We're here now today. It's fucking COVID-19 season out here. We're fucked. Everyone's fucked, but whatever. You know what I mean? We're dealing with it. So I want to go into the socials because it's obviously as neighborhood we always focus on, right? And I want to see you guys are absolutely killing it. I pretty much like can remember. I don't remember the fucking date exactly, but as a type of thing to say, I remember the day that you guys took over. Yeah. And how different like the Insta account was from previous owners to you guys, and what a fucking difference. And now my question, I guess, is, what did you guys find yourself doing that maybe the account wasn't doing before? Yeah. And then what are, has it helped your business? How much has it helped your business? You know what I mean? Like,
I think
I'm ready to jump.
You can go.
Get in.
I think one thing.
Take it back. One thing. Take a couple stretches.
One thing, firstly, to note, I feel like is we're still far off from where we want to be.
Yeah,
you always will be. You always will be.
Yeah, that's how you guys are.
Yeah, and like. So that's definitely the first thing. The second thing was just in terms of the quality of the content and the again, most of our page is photo based. So I think that again, having the right photographer in place to get that content that we can then post was really key. And we've worked with a couple over the year and a half that we've been in ownership. Luigi, like Louis Miguel, is probably our, the strongest photographer that we had. And again, he was just able to capture photos that, they were club photos, but they almost felt like portraits. It didn't, it wasn't, it wasn't a generic, okay, I'm at the club. It's like, wow, this is a photo that like I could actually, again, you want to post, you want to, you look great, and the tones are good and the colors are there. So like, I think that helps a lot. I think so. Just I guess to put out there, Conrad really does most of the social media posting in terms of Door, and I think especially what we've learned, a big problem with Door 3 as a whole that we've faced again is kind of that inheriting of a brand, the inheriting of the staff, inheriting the social media, inheriting a space, which with that you take the good and the bad. You know,
the biggest issues before there was really no direction, and that's something that we really wanted to implement was, again, before you're just posting just to post on Instagram with no clear message, with no plan, with no direction. It's just, okay, like, how do I stay relevant? I'm just going to post a picture on Instagram. Whereas like right now, it's like we're really trying to create a direction and see where we kind of want to take it and where we want to go in a sense. And really, again, like, you know, it's a big testament to like how people view the club in a sense. You really want to, you know, improve that. And the best way to do that is obviously by social media. And again, it's just one of those things where it's a club, for example, that goes very under the radar. Like, for example, like, not to say I got a little pissed off the other day, but I saw some girl post an Instagram poll, and it was like, what does this Toronto club mean to you? Post your club and what it means. And I saw every other club get tagged, and Door 3 wasn't even tagged, which somebody could have said something rude and I probably would have gotten pissed off anyways. But like, it's like we weren't even mentioned. But like, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, don't get me wrong, but it all just depends on what your mission is and what your direction is. And I think that's something that, like, again, I'm sure he'll touch on, is like what we're really trying to figure out is,
no, it's very like, you treat it like, I'm going to go back to it, but you guys treat the Nightlife as if it was like a concert or like an event or a pop-up, or it's so like family oriented where it's like, there's 200 people in there that all know each other. You know what I mean?
And like, you know, that's been a lot of going back to relationships and network. You know, we're lucky that, you know, we do have that body that we can call on. And everybody feels comfortable, and, you know, for the most part, you know, they feel safe when they come. So I think that's something that even moving into like a newer, fresher Door 3 after this whole COVID-19 coronavirus stuff happens, you know, we still want to keep that element while also giving it a new, you know, face, a new chapter.
Well, look, you guys did the My Door 3 memory. Huge, absolutely huge, man. Like you're saying, like before we hopped on the mics, you were saying like over 100 people.
But that matches like that culture that I was saying.
100%.
And that's huge because like we were saying, and like we're talking to our clients about the same shit. It's just like a lot of our clients are like, okay, like can we pause for a bit? Like, you know, our business is closed right now, this, that, whatever. And we're just like, listen, it's not even about the money. It's just like, let's keep your content going. Right? Because like I was saying to you guys, I haven't seen one club post since they've been shut.
It's crazy.
You guys are the only ones continuing your content day by fucking day. And
because you're staying in people's minds, right? And at the same time, going back to what you were saying about posting, and you don't just want to post something to post something. I noticed that you guys pick pictures of like people that would most likely even share it and tag their friends. And oh, that's a really popular person. Maybe we'll post that. Like, that's how you have to do it.
And even I think what's really cool, and like what, you know, we kind of love secretly in a sense, is a lot of people have their thoughts on Door 3, and a lot of people, you know, again, both positive and both negative, but everybody comes to Door.
And everybody likes it. Because it's a family vibe.
And I've seen every single person I know
at Door. So like, you know, you get some of these people who are like, oh no, there's no broads at Door. It's like, and then we post picture of all their favorite broads who were there last week. It's like,
those people saying there's no broads.
Don't do those.
Listen, you know what the funny thing is? I'm gonna put something on here.
The game. Let's go.
The people saying that are the same people that even if you put them in front of a broad, they're not gonna do anything. So the same ones that are complaining about the whole broad situation are the same ones that, hey, if there's 10 broads in front of you, you're not going to even fucking do anything.
Yeah, but this is the whole thing of just like perception of how people talk and what they want to say and this and that, right?
Because again, like there's a lot of people who they think, oh, like Door 3, okay, let me put it, there's people that Door 3 might not be their first choice if they're going to go out. But again,
when they always make their way there.
And they'll be like, oh my God, this guy was here. Oh, Ernesto and Sorella were there that week. Oh my, And it's like, everybody's there. Like again, and using that in the social media, like you said, you know, posting people that you might not even think were at Door, but they're there. You know, again, like not to
You're
name
posting
names.
things that are gonna get the most attention.
Yeah,
that's what
100%.
That's what it is.
It was funny because even like when we took over, basically like there was a lot of people that were saying, "Oh, Door 3 was dead. Door 3 was dead," and that's when we were like, people didn't know that we had bought the place yet.
Yeah.
but we were still like promoting and like,
And we kept it very quiet.
Because you wanted to know.
So the thing is too, like you'd ask people, "Oh, like what do you think, Door 3?" "Oh, like I'll never. Oh, you know, I probably won't ever go there again."
Same person calling you on outside.
And, you know,
babe, can you
a
give me
year
your
later, like they show up and it's just like, what happened?
Yeah, I thought no one was here.
Yeah, what happened?
But that just comes with it. And you guys have seen
Yeah.
people and how they act in those kind of situations throughout everything, through the shows, through the studio, through
100%.
everything, right? Like people are going to say what they want to say.
It's the long
and they'll still
term
do it.
build. It's the as many times as we can say it. Every guest we've had here has been like, dude, I've been at this for 7 years. I've been at this for 10 years. And I haven't seen $1. I've been negative for 7 of my 10 years doing you know what I mean? And it's the same thing. We had a one-on-one conversation, me and him the other day, and I was just like, people, like entrepreneurship is all fun and games until you're actually in it. You know what I mean? And you're in debt.
It's all the go-kart.
You're tripping entrepreneurs the whole time. You're like, oh, you guys do nothing
until you're in
shit
debt
pops off.
and your bills come and you got to make a fucking car payment and your rent's due and this and that. It's just like, this is real fucking life,
Sure.
man.
And I think
It's
like
real
the thing
life.
is too, like, you know, no disrespect to any, like, you know, but even like going to university, it's like, for me, it was like a mold. Everybody that is going through this, you know, as this system, it's like, you're setting yourself up to be this person. And I just looked at myself, I was like, do I really want to be this person? Like,
you made
But instead of that, what you took from school is meeting people.
exactly. Yeah.
And meeting all those
like,
people.
And we did a
right?
great job.
a funny story, even just to like throw at that, you know, and again, not to create this, you know, sob story in a sense, but when we went to Ryerson, you know, there was people who loved us and there was people that hated us. And it's same with the golf course. There was people who loved us and people that, and I wouldn't say hated, it was more resented. It's like, how do these guys walk around being able to do whatever they want? And people go and they go to their parties and they have fun with them, whatever. And when I want to do something, nobody cares.
You know what I love though? You know what I love about you guys, honestly, and I always say this to him. This is what I fucking love about you guys. You don't give a fuck.
No.
And you just don't give a fuck. You guys will walk into like the biggest meeting with like sweats on. And I'm like, those are my fucking guys.
I've closed every single deal I've ever made in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt. He fucking choked my office and fucking choked the t-shirt. I thought this guy was crazy, but I signed on the dog.
But that's real life. You know what I mean?
And people respect that too. But they look at you and they're just like, you know what? Like these guys are doing their own thing. Like, I respect that.
Again, I'm not going to name names, but when we, you know, we're looking, like I said, for investment at the club, you know, there was one person, well, we went to every meeting in short t-shirt, but there was one person specifically whose parents are a little bit more traditional and you know, they are very successful in the businesses that they own and operate, but they're almost like family to us. So we went and had this meeting and, you know, again, we're sitting with our friend and his parents. And as we left, the parents looked at him and say, wow, very confident guys. Hey, they're here in t-shirt and shorts. They must really know what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's true.
And
Straight up.
But
We killed our presentation. Always.
And the answer every time.
And that's what's most important. Maybe you walk in and they're like, oh, you guys are in fucking shorts. They're not serious. But then you talk and they're like,
but you wouldn't give a fuck either, even if they said something.
No.
I don't give a shit. I'm fucking comfortable as fuck.
I didn't lie.
And we're me and him are the same way. Like we walk into meetings with huge brands, and some of them that we didn't close for certain reasons, but we've walked in with big brands like this. You know what I mean? Like
Well, and again, I think too, like one thing that we always, and I'm sure you guys are the same, but like what we always try to do is understand the context as well. Obviously, we know sometimes if we got to put on a dress shirt or a collar somewhere, like you know, you got to do it.
Okay, bro.
I've seen you a couple of times. I've seen you fucking rocking. You gotta see them in a dress shirt. You guys are rocking.
I think since like
If we got to cover the legs, we'll cover the legs. I'll put on sweats.
Well, like you know,
read context, know who you're meeting with. It's an absolute must for sure.
Yeah,
of course.
and like and you know, I think the biggest, regardless of where it is or who it is or the situation, I think again and it's almost hard sometimes because we do have other partners or other people, whether it be in the club or with whatever, and a lot of people find it hard to join the discussion when me and Conrad are there. Because I'll finish a sentence and Conrad will throw in, oh yeah, and by the way, and he'll go on for 10 minutes.
So
everyone's just like, fuck this. Let these guys do this.
Like, okay, let them go. Like, they'll get it done. You know what I mean?
And you know what's cool about like and this is just going back to the whole like that you guys just don't give a fuck type of vibe, which again is super important when being an entrepreneur. Is that like, and this is going into more of like your music stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like I've noticed like again with all the shit that's going on, creating more content is very important, right? Just keeping your brand alive. So
100%.
you've gone on to do some stuff where you deconstructed some songs. Some fucking favorites, you know what I mean, and show like how it was made, this, that, and whatever, right? Really put your face into it and put your brand out there, and really, it was a very vulnerable state for you to do that. 100%. And I noticed like, and this is huge for any entrepreneur, but especially people in music, like to go out and do that is huge. To be vulnerable as an artist, especially an artist, is huge, right? So what people tend to forget is people fall in love with your vulnerability.
Yeah,
you know what
100%.
I mean? People love the fact that you're going out there and showing your face. Listen, you put that post out, it gets 50 shares, 25 are people who are laughing at you, and 25 are people who are love you. But the 25 people who are laughing at you are still sharing that post to their friends.
Yeah,
right?
It's true.
So I think that's just me circling back on the whole, like, you're an entrepreneur, just do what you love. Stay focused on what you're doing and just not giving a fuck about what people think, right?
And like even on the content side, and you brought this up actually earlier, and how you were doing content for the Uncrowned lineup, and for each artist, like you realized the importance of content.
Oh yeah, early,
And we were worried about, like, we wanted to do more content. Like, 100%. I'm talking about years ago. We're like, yo, we need to do more content. We need to do videos of this. Get that artist. We'll do this. And people are kind of learning now how important content is. And I look back and I'm like, when you say stories like that, I'm just like, yo, we were worried about it this whole fucking time. It's crazy, right? But like the importance of, if you take away content from you and
there's nothing.
There's nothing left.
Well, and even like, again, I think it's like the value of content exceeds even like, for example, the social media value.
Yeah.
You know, because like, again, back in the day when we were doing our first concert and even a couple concerts after that, you know, we were doing the photo shoots. To be honest, the main goal was so that everybody could meet each other.
Yeah.
It was
huge.
just,
But also, again, even just building like we said, if everybody's posting the same consistent content, the overall message is louder and stronger.
Yeah,
way louder.
But right off the bat, because again, when I started, like I took more of the lead on the first two shows, let's just say, and then it kind of got together, both of us.
Yeah.
But like the first photo shoot that I ran, I didn't know these performers.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what they looked like.
Like meeting up that day, like, hey, nice to meet you.
They showed up to the photo shoot, and I'm like, who are you? Who's this guy? You know what I mean? And for me, again, by, you know, content became the channel as to which I could meet people and interact. And now we had a relationship. Now, if I saw them at an event or a party or at the show, it's yo, how are you? Dap, you know,
there's like a huge domino effect.
Yeah,
now, right?
exactly.
So now
And
they
it's
have
all-
this content from Uncrowned.
Yeah.
Now they're posting it. They're promoting your concert. They're promoting even the photographer now.
Everything.
Now that photographer who knows 6 more artists is looking at you like,
100%. And we were able
there's
to
so
build.
many, there's so many aspects that come from that one move that people will look past and be like, why am I going to do? I'm going to pay $200 for a photographer to do six artists I don't even know.
Yeah. And nobody, and that was extra money that we literally just
That was out of your pocket.
Out of pocket.
And I remember you guys always going out of pocket to make more content.
Always,
like even for your shows, you'd be like,
didn't matter. Video,
okay, we're
photo.
gonna make $500 on this fucking. Okay, give it to the videographer.
And this is something that we press to our clients and potential clients and pretty much everyone that we give advice to is just the more content, the better.
100%.
And you know, for a lot of businesses, they're looking for like ROI right away. They're like, dude, if we're doing this, I need to see tenfold what I spent on it.
To put it into perspective, sorry to interrupt.
No, no,
like
right.
even with Jet Set, with the music, as you guys all know, like, you know, I've had music that's been done for over a year. And, you know, I sat on that and I said, okay, now I need to build the content out for it. Because I have the music, it's great, but I need the photo, video,
It's
and
just as
I need to
important.
have it, and I need to have it disposable. Where it's like I have a folder of 300 photos, and I can for days just say, okay, here's another one.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. In the music side of it, because we're here, would you say the music is just as important as the content? Like, would you match them side by side?
So I've realized,
like, how would you put it?
I've realized, even musically, I think I've grown a lot in the last 3 months in just understanding what needs to be done in order to get further. And I think that music similar, like, okay, it pains me, but people nowadays don't say, oh yeah, I'm dropping music. It's like, no, I want to put out some content. You know,
Yeah.
the music
Music is now a piece of
aspect
content.
is now a piece of content.
Yeah.
in a sense.
So
You know what I mean?
that's huge that you say that, man.
Yeah.
That's so huge.
And that's what changed, I think, the music
that's
industry
what
right
changed
now.
completely because
and like I think that the SoundCloud is probably one of the platforms that's I think like is what really
sparked that.
sparked that.
But even
Well,
now TikTok,
people are making tracks just for TikTok.
Yeah, 100%.
It's crazy.
Dude, look at the guy who
and
did-
TikTok is blowing songs.
They love it.
Bro, look at the guy who did Bone in the House and I'm in the House.
Yeah,
Boy.
yeah.
That guy, that was a TikTok of him just in front of his camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, bro, blows up. Tyga hits him up. Is like, hey, let's make this a real track.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah, yeah. Dude, Tyga
Even,
has a
yeah,
fucking
Roxanne
remix
is-
on it.
Roxanne, Dua Lipa.
It's crazy, right? So like, look how content formed now, and now your music is relying on the content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
You could be the best
Yeah.
artist in
sure.
the
yeah,
world.
and have fuck all.
And
If you have
Lil-
no content,
and
no
Lil
one's gonna know.
Uzi, whoever, bro, Lil Xan Vert, whatever it is gonna pop a perky, make a track that's like, meh, and then, bro, he's gonna put out sick
Whatever,
content,
for sure.
and that guy is gonna be at the top of the Billboard 100 for 20 weeks.
I think,
off his stupid content,
Yeah.
or whatever, quote unquote, stupid content.
Yeah.
And then there's guys who are like, the music is everything, and I agree with that. It's an art and music, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
It's the core of it.
But you have to
you need to
adapt
have
yourself
both.
to
But
this
there's
generation.
a bigger, there's a
You have to
bigger.
adapt it. If this was 40 years ago, bro, make music, go sing on the street.
100%. Yeah.
But now, sing to your phone.
I think
Yeah,
even
exactly,
one
right?
thing that I've noticed recently in my own music as a more local, startup artist, if you want to call that, even though I've been working for
Instead of startup art, I've never heard that
7 years.
before.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like
No,
in a sense, like
that's amazing.
Humble.
I feel like a local artist is almost like a downplay on like what I want to do. So it's like I don't want to be considered a local anymore. It's like I'm almost like
Yeah,
startup.
but fuck, you're from the city, right? Like
Yeah,
this is
but
our
I mean,
city, and we
you almost put
thrive
yourself
off
in that like, okay,
Stigma.
if I'm it's a stigma. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
at this level.
People
you know?
look at him like, oh, he's local.
Yeah, he's local, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that fuck, I don't even know what I was gonna say. Local startup. Blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, sorry. What I've realized is that even the songs, similar to how content needs to be digestible, songs need to be digestible.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of the balance between the content and songs as well. Is that number one, music is content, like we said, but it also has to interest people in a certain way. And that doesn't mean dumb the song down by any means.
Yeah.
No,
it just
not at
means that anybody who listens to the song out of context. So like, again, for example, it's a hilarious story and I'm not going to name names here, but it was something cool in a sense that happened. I was looking, there was one blog, if you want, one platform that I was trying to get a hold of. And I knew the guy, I knew his name. He's from Toronto. And a lot of my friends knew him. And I was, for the longest time, trying to get a hold of him, say, hey, and again, I could just DM him and be like, hey, but I didn't want to be that guy.
Yeah, you want to do, like, more
Because
professionally.
I want to say,
And sometimes it's almost like a hindrance if you
it's like,
Well, imagine how many he's getting, most
that's what I'm
likely.
saying.
Yeah.
So,
you're putting yourself in a pool of people that like I don't know.
and none of my friends or people that I asked to put me in touch, because again, Toronto a lot of times is a very, there's one guy that you got to know and you want that relationship for yourself.
Yeah,
right?
you want to make it on. You want to
Even
make it on your own.
that spreads across every industry. I think we're actually in a blessing. Like Toronto is not really a big city at all. And
It's
I think
accessible.
Whether it's nightlife, whether it's music, whatever it is. If you need to know that one person,
It's like 1 degree of separation.
100%. And you either know
If I
somebody
want
who
to call
knows
the
them-
owner of EFS, I'll call him.
Of course.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to find the owner of Door, how are you?
course.
Right?
Yeah, they can find.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
But that's also because of the position you guys put yourself
Yeah,
in.
of course.
Not an average Joe. Not
Because like Charles, you can't just call
Yeah,
Charles.
But
no.
if you go to if you go to
Okay, what
Vegas,
should I call
for example,
Call me now.
but yeah, if you go to other places like New York or something like that, like you got to go through 15 people to get to even somebody.
And,
who
you,
has
and
any
you,
pull.
you might never even get
Yeah,
there.
you might get there. But yeah, going back to music.
Going back to that situation. So again, for weeks I was trying to get a hold of this guy. I sent him an email just to submit music to him. No response. He ends up following me on Instagram.
Amazing.
And I'm like, okay. What happened here?
getting
Are
mixed
you
messages
sure?
here. Yeah. Is it a
So
year or
I
nay?
DM him and I'm like, hey, like, thanks so much for the follow. I really appreciate what you're doing with your platform, blah, blah, blah. He was super responsive. He's like, yeah, man, like, you seem like a cool guy. I've seen a little bit of what you're doing. So I just thought I'd follow you. I'm like, hey, I actually sent you an email the other day with some music, like would love for you to check it out. He said, I listen to everything. But I'll send it to me again and I'll re-listen to it, whatever. And we ended up getting on a phone call, just chopped it up for half an hour. And it was hilarious because he didn't know that I was Jet Set. So at the end of the call, he's like, by the way, I listened to your boy's track.
That's great branding, by the way.
Right? Yeah, it's hilarious.
amazing.
Yeah, he's like, I listened to your boy's track, and like, it's cool. I think he just really has to work on his songwriting and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, no, for sure. Like, I'll let him know, blah, blah, blah. Right? Well, because I don't want to make him look like, okay, by the way, you know? But what really opened my eyes to that is like, Paper Chase, which we released in February. Yeah. I don't think it was by any means a digestible song, which I mean, what I mean by that is, if you weren't at the release party, if you didn't know who I am,
if you were invested in the brand
already, that song means nothing to you.
Yeah,
for sure.
So when I'm submitting it to a blog or a playlist or whatever, why the fuck should they care if they don't understand the context?
They have to feel similar to it.
Yeah, they have to understand where it came from, right? And going back to the content aspects of things, I think when you put out content, it has to be in context, and it has to be digestible.
Yeah.
Like if I want to put out a social media post, it can't be so one-dimensional that nobody can look at it and be like, oh, this is cool content. You know what I mean?
And that's
or a
what I'm
podcast
saying.
or a photo shoot
that
or
falls
anything
even
like
into
that.
like you knowing your network now, because now
100%.
you're posting things and you're like, my following actually enjoys this kind of content, so that's why I'm doing it. Right? You're not just pumping out content. You're looking at your network and you're saying,
this is what needs to be done.
This is my network. This is the kind of stuff that they'd enjoy.
Yeah.
Now they're looking at it and saying, fuck, he got me. This is exactly what I fucking wanted to see. But you see what I'm saying? It's not just about pumping content. It's about, okay, look at your following.
Exactly.
Look at your potential following, who you want to follow you. And then you build your content around that. You don't build it around yourself. You don't build it around yourself. You don't say, this is what I want to do. No. You do, what do the people want to see?
100%.
Right?
If you want to grow.
If you want to grow.
And guys, it was hilarious to me. I looked at the follow that day. I'm like, why the fuck?
Yeah.
And he didn't follow my music page. He followed my personal page.
Yeah.
Right? And I screenshotted it and sent it to like 3-4 people. I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck? I've been trying to get a hold of this guy for a time. And it's hilarious because I go through another aspect of the story. I go through a distribution company in New York.
Okay. Cool.
Distribution company essentially sends your music to Spotify, Apple, and like helps place your songs better if you're working with a good one, right?
A certain playlist.
Certain playlists, exactly. So one day they messaged me and they're like, hey, by the way, we've got a Canadian company that we're working with that I want to connect you with. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, which one is it? He's like, oh yeah, we'll figure it out when you're on your next release. I'm like, okay, cool. So they messaged me. They're like, hey, have you heard of blah, blah, blah? I'm like, yeah, I just texted him last night. Same guy. Wow. So now he's getting a hit from New York, being like, yo, take this guy in, and it's not me anymore saying, hey, yo, you should put this on the platform. It's like, it comes back around. And like what I was kind of going to say, to top that up is like, opportunities will come your way. It's almost better not to force it. Because again, if I would have DM'd the guy and said, yo, bro, like, I love what you're doing. Like,
can we, whatever. And things will fall into place.
Things will come and opportunities will come and stuff like that.
Another thing too is that, let's look at startup artists for a sec here, right?
I love that. I love that term.
No startup artist is really doing content to that level
and at scale.
Right? Because
and at a time like this,
you're trying to get creative with it. You're like, I'm not gonna post a fucking music video. I'm not gonna post my fucking cover art. I'm not gonna post. Me talking about my song and me breaking it down.
And I was lucky that when there's certain artists that I would watch and John Bellion is a guy who not a lot of people know, but I love him, and that's what he would do. And one thing, even I think to with this whole content discussion as well, is to like, understand what works for you. If it works, you keep going.
Run with it.
I think the biggest thing too is you have to stay authentic and you have to be credible.
Like, it's about your brand, right? Like people know Steph, and if they watch that video, they'll be like, yeah, Steph would actually sit me down and bring me down. Like, that's something that he would do, right? So they're already like, okay, that's the right concept.
I think like as an artist, and again, this is me, just my take on it. I think like, back in the day, artists would like try to express themselves and stuff through like stuff like their performances and then the way they would dress and stuff. You'd be like, oh, that's Prince because he's wearing a fucking purple velour suit. And that was
Michael Jackson with the gloves.
With the glove, this, that.
Or
but
everyone has their own chain and you see the chain.
But now it's
But it's like now, but now it's like if you want to get attention, dude, you could walk on stage be wearing a fucking purple suit. It doesn't matter anymore. It's like what were you doing on your social media channels to get people to even be like, who the fuck is this guy doing this or doing that, right? And that's the first step. And I think that you know that matters for any business, but especially in music, bro. Especially because you're making your first. 99% of the time, your first impression is online with new potential listeners or fans, right? So it's like, yo, I hear a track, I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. Let me check this guy's Insta. You go to the Insta, and the socials are fucking booming. Crazy socials. He's deconstructing songs. He's doing
the photos are proper,
this,
like everything.
Right? And it all follows, and it's like, that's who this guy is, and that's why his music sounds like this.
And like a big thing that we've heard a lot of is like in terms of social media. Let's say you're an artist, and some people will be like, you know what, like, no, social media, like, I'm a private guy. Listen, don't worry. Keep your stuff private.
There's no such thing as
show
private.
us what you want to show us.
And
no one said to take a picture of your family and post it online or your little cousin. Like, post what you need to. No, Instagram's not controlling you. You control 100%.
it. You do what you want.
Right? So the type of content is important because people will throw it out the window right away. When you say you should post more pictures, they automatically think, no, I'm so private, I can't. No, that's not for me. But it's like, you don't even need to post anything that would
about your face.
That would hurt your private life.
I think a big thing going back to, again, like more on the music side, I think, again, like I was kind of saying, credibility. Like, again, there's a lot of artists right now, for example, like you can fact check anybody, you can fact check anything. For example, like when he, obviously, like he was saying, if you know, the angle's coming from New York, it just seems a lot more credible. And it's like, okay, I'm out of the loop. This person is doing something good. If this person's backing it, then I'm, you know, it makes a lot of sense. But even going back to like, even like views, for example, like there's a lot of people who pay obviously for streams and stuff like that. It's every company at this point, you know, there's apps that you can see back end stuff. If you see 100,000 streams and only 100 people listen, something's wrong.
You know what's up.
But the thing is like,
and the thing is like, there's a lot of people that are crowding up the scene. And it's just like, I think that's like the worst thing. It's just like, you know, now it's so much harder if you're a platform like a blog.
But it goes back, like it goes back to jump on that. Like, and this is for music, but I think it's really for everything else. When you come in and you start doing music out of the blue with, I don't want to say the wrong intentions, and you are kind of crowding the space, but people don't know who you are. It's like, are you this small business owner and you make music? Are you know, again, or if you're a brand, hey, do you do this or do you do that? So like,
that's why you even divided up the brands too. And you said, I'm Jet Set here
on the music world.
I'm Calabrese here. You see what I'm saying? So 100%. People know, right? But because I know what you're saying.
If I started posting, and again, I've got friends too that, you know, they'll post a lot of personal stuff on a music centered page. And like, again, it's great, but you know,
you're using the platform wrong.
You're using the platform
It goes back to looking at, okay, who's my network?
100%. And
who
what
am I talking now, right? Like,
because
it's not like you take let's say an Instagram page that just posts plants all day. And then you post a dog all of a sudden.
Like, what's going on?
What are you doing? Dog food on the side. Like, my following,
buy one plant,
here for dogs. They're here for fucking plants.
And the success of that person, you know, and even me, that's why I like, when I meet music people, I don't tell them about the club. Because I don't want them to see me as the nightlife guy. I want people to see me as the music kid. And then, you know, even when I meet people on the nightlife side, I'm not rushing to say, oh yeah, by the way, I make music, you should check it out. It's like, if they find out about it,
I've been with you a lot of those situations. You don't say, I never heard you introduce yourself and say that you make music.
No. And I think the big thing is too, there's a huge difference between King Street and Queen Street. I think that's like, me and my brother have always,
about 200 meters, but it's fucking huge difference, bro.
Like what me and my brother have always tried to do is keep that separation and like, okay, appreciate and get involved in the Queen Street side and the King Street side in our own realms.
And we can like, you know, again, another aspect to take away from all this too is like to be adaptable. Like my first show was at Jane and Finch Mall. You know what I mean? We were in Jane and Finn, not to give our street cred or I don't care about that, but like we were in those situations with those kinds of people.
Queen, you weren't on
I wasn't
fucking
at the ACC.
When he's performing, they're expecting a hard rapper to come in there and just spit bars, and then he comes in with an acapella.
But
And everyone's like, "Oh shit!"
This is
You know what I mean? They got, he got
this is
my
all
fucking
those
attention.
experiences that when someone asks you today and says, "How the fuck did you do it?" and you're just like,
bro, it's
buddy,
easy.
like, you don't
and again, like, you know, we've dealt with low income people. We've dealt with high income people at the golf course. We've dealt with creative people. We've dealt with business minded people.
But you know what it is? You guys went out and experienced life. Where people, and that is why you guys are good entrepreneurs. You're good at what you do, whether that be the club side, whether that be the music side, whether you guys said tomorrow, I'm going into fucking clothing. I, from an outside perspective, have faith that you can make it work. Because you've gone out and experienced all this stuff. And that's a big thing people forget. Sorry, is that, you know, experiences shape you
100%.
And if you ever for a moment think you want to be an entrepreneur,
for sure,
you better go out and fucking experience life and experience working with high income people, low income people from the east side, people from the west side, because
and you take those perspectives. Like a lot of King Street people have never been to like a local show, let alone organized one.
And they have no idea what it comes.
But we've taken experience from those local tiny King or Queen Street concerts, or, you know, little shows at the Libertine or whatever, and
going back
apply them to King Street,
stuff like that. Like, it's like a community program organized for, you know, like local people in the Jane and Finch community
from Jane and Finch area,
perform, and just giving them a platform to
you see
show
that right there,
talent.
like a startup artist would look at that and be like, no, I can't do that.
I
can't. That's crazy.
But
you want me to go do that? I can't do that.
But the thing is, like what we've experienced is like you can be in an environment with 100 people and it can be your best show ever, and you can be in an environment with 3,000 people and it can absolutely suck.
Fuck off.
Because those 100 people, going back to what you always say, the 100 people care. They give a fuck about who you are and who's on that stage, and they're gonna listen to your message. But the 3,000 people could be waiting for the next guy. Just, Tory Lanez is coming up next.
Well,
like, you know,
even going back to that whole thing when you said people are buying these fucking views and these streams. Do a show now and see how many people show up.
Yeah,
you have 1 million views on YouTube because you bought them all, and now do your own show. 20 people are
That's
coming.
a big thing. It's like, you know, you have these artists that even have credibility online and streaming, and then they go to perform, and everyone just looks at them and says, "Well, that was not what I was expecting." You know what I mean? And that's where they fall apart.
Performing, like some of my best, most engaged shows have been in empty rooms. You know, with 30 people there.
And the thing is,
everybody leaves thinking, wow,
holy
that
fuck.
was sick.
That was crazy.
I'm going to follow him on Instagram. And I leave with 30 Instagram followers.
But that's because even the personal experience, like these people are coming up to you and saying, fuck, you killed it, that show. And you're like, thanks for coming. And now they're like,
exactly, you build a relationship.
I know this person. They're going to come to all my shows.
The first time I ever watched you perform, which is crazy to me, was I think it was like you opened up for some guy. Velvet, which I don't know who the fuck that guy was. Whatever.
You brought more people.
I didn't even watch it. You pretty much brought the whole crowd. But anyways, aside from that, I was like, holy fuck, this is a fucking vibe. And I always downloaded your music and I always listened to it. But after going to that show, I was like,
you listen to it different after.
Man.
When you hear it different.
But you know what I like about that, man? And this is definitely for people, especially in the entertainment industry as a whole. Whether you just throw one-off events, you promote this, that, whatever. You're gonna have good nights, you're gonna have bad nights. It is what it is, but you put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Because you throw these shows, and guess what? Even if you sold 100 tickets online, maybe only 20 show up. But listen, a lot of artists would be like, I'm not performing in front of 20 people. Fuck that.
We had, which one are you going to say?
Okay, I was going to go, okay, you go first because mine's like a little,
Well, okay, like even, for example, and I think Ernesto was definitely there that day, but there was one event that was at Les Jardins for Halloween, and we were supposed to open or whatever, and French Montana was on the bill. And they put us in the next room where it was a room that fits 2,500 people, and there was maybe 15. And there was another kid who performed, who again, I won't name names, but we all know who he is, who was performing that day, and he looked and said, I'm going to do it. I'm like, you really want to do this? I was like, I could put you on a show next week that'll be better than this. You really want to get up here and do this? He's like, yeah, fuck it, I want to do it. And I looked at myself, I'm like, if he can do that, then I gotta put his pride aside, then I'm going to do it. Because then I look like an idiot. And again, I could have gone and done a show the month after and it would have been full.
But there could have been one person, not 15, that fucked with you so hard, that's going to come to all your shows.
We've had those experiences. Going back to it, I think when I started university, there was a girl that came up to me, and I think the first time I shared my brother's song, she goes, oh my God, I saw him perform at Nathan Phillips Square a year and a half ago. And it was, I forget what the event was.
It was Toronto Trek for Teens.
Yeah, Trek for Teens.
Let's go.
Yeah. And like at the time, like it's a full day event, but at the time there's maybe like 100 concentrated people at the square, and the square is huge. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like that person came like a year and a half later. My brother did this show, and she comes up to me. She goes, "I remember you, and I remember your brother." She's like, "I listened to his music," and I had no idea who she was for a year and a half. Yeah. But she comes back and she's like, "Oh, I remember that." And like you can't take that for granted. Even if there's 100 people there, that's an opportunity to win over 100 hearts.
With any business, going back onto what you're saying, you need to take your victories, no matter how big or small, and appreciate every second.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When we're at door 3 and we have a busy night, or even if it's not a crazy busy night, but hey, you know, we made a little bit of money. Even if we made no money, but everybody had fun,
unreal,
or the crowd was good,
crazy. Like
you
that
know,
song went on, the place went nuts. We got that picture, we got that moment, we got that
whatever
that
it is.
clip on
you
video.
take your wins. Yeah. And again, that applies to any industry. Even with you guys, if you guys make one social media post on the Rosina's account, and it gets 1,000 comments, you're like, holy shit, we did this.
You run a contest and it redeems at a 50% redemption rate, whatever it is.
It's like you're not worried too much about how many people, but how you affect each person.
So going back, how it affected your business.
Exactly. You know? So for you guys, for example, you're not looking to fucking please 50,000 people. You're happy because if those 300, 400 people in there are very happy, that's all that matters.
Just please one at a time.
Right?
That's what if you did something that brought on one new fan, or you did something that brought on 200.
It's like us with clients. The same thing. We rather have 5 clients that are super happy with us and we're super involved with their company than have 50 where we're like, oh fuck, like
what's going on with there?
I'm gonna tell you guys a story, really random, but it kind of pertains to this as well. When we were, I believe, still promoting, we had a friend. We still have a friend, good guy. But he would always bring out his friends. And, you know, he was very committed to door 3. He would come weekly when we were just promoting, you know, and really showed support and love. And one of his friends, I think, was going through a rough time mentally. You know, he was just kind of uncertain about where he wanted to be in life, whatever it was. Again, I didn't get into it because it was more of a friend of a friend. That kid, it was his birthday. I think it was April. I think it was around this time too, to be honest. And middle of the night, he comes up to me and says, "I just wanted to thank you so much." I'm like, "For what?" I did your birthday. You got a booth. Like, for what? Like, what?
Thank you.
I just made my promo money. You know? And
but you feel it when that happens.
And he said, he's like, "You don't understand." He's like, "I've been going through a lot lately. And the fact that you wanted to set up my birthday and we did it and it's here and everybody's here having a good time." He's like, it really means a lot to me.
That's huge.
And like, when you look at the impact, even if it's something that we don't, you know, to us, booking a table is nothing. You want to come in for free? No problem. But, you know, to other people, that gesture.
That's when you see the real power of what you do, right? Whether it's just booking a booth or you're helping them with something else or you're booking them on a show, like that's the power people see, 100%.
Right? And like, you know,
it's
again,
showing that respect
for any business, no matter what industry, you know, you've got to really take those victories and appreciate them and say, wow, look at what I was able to do in this one case, in this 30 cases, whatever it is, 300 people. You know, I feel like you really got to do that because that re-strengthens, you know, how you move forward. And
it almost just like solidifies like, this is why I do
this is why I do that. Because going back to Conrad's story about the girl who saw me perform that one day and she said she listened to her music, that's what makes me continue to make music. When people look at me and say, I love this song, I listen to it every day. Or the other day, some girl sent me a video of her listening to it. I didn't know who she was. That makes me think, like,
that's unreal.
The songs are good. People like that. So
I think, a big thing too is like you have to kind of block out anybody who has like negativity in a sense. And like, you just really have to realize, like, why am I here? What am I doing? It's like, if, you know, we've always said this, like, we're not here for clout, even in the club industry. Like, I can sit at any position in the nightlife industry and I'll be happy just because I'm doing what I like to do. I could have the worst club in the city and I don't even care.
Before money, focus on what makes you happy. Doing shit that you love and things that make you happy. And we say it all the fucking time, as cliche as it is, if you focus on what's making you happy, the money will come.
And
the thing is, it could be in a, you know, for some people get lucky. They're like, hey, I want to start doing this. They do it and within a fucking year, they're a millionaire. But some people, it takes 20 years. That's the game.
And even with the shows, I know we can bounce off so many and we're probably cutting. But even with the shows, there were times when we ran a concert and thought to ourselves, we really need to make money.
Yeah.
And if we don't make money here,
we can't do it again.
We shouldn't do it again.
Same thing. It's like we know, because again, we've always prided ourselves that we pay every act that performs. We know before we get into a show what our break-even cost is.
Yeah.
So there's times where, for example, we'll look and we'll say, yo, we are short like $1,000 right now. Like we're on the hook for losing $1,000.
Yeah.
How are we going to get ourselves to a break-even?
But even, sorry, just to interrupt, what I was going to say before was the shows that we needed to make money on didn't make money.
Never made money. I was about to say they never made money.
The shows that we put together because the lineups were great, people were happy, we did the photo shoot, we did the content, everybody was excited. Bro, they were full right off the bat. You walk in and people come up to me like, how did you get this local show so full?
And the thing is too, they'd be like, I've never been to a local show that's busy at 9 p.m. They're like, I've been to rap shows where the bill starts at 12. You guys are out at 11:45.
And that's because you loved it and your network. And your
care.
You know, like one thing that I noticed from both of you right off the bat when I met you guys was that you guys are very like.
We're gonna tell that story after.
I saw similarities in myself because I saw how you guys liked and respected people and always wanted to take care of them, right? And listen, man, we've had some experiences where we were in charge of filling up a club and we bring 40 people but we take care of those fucking 40 people like they're the last people we're ever gonna see, right? So that's something that I noticed about you guys too. Like I would do it too. Like no matter if this person was the hottest girl I've ever seen in my life or like some douchebag that I maybe never even have to talk to again. I made sure that they were taken care of equally, right? And that's something that people don't want to
do it every time, but you know that you have to.
But you know that you have to. And because you've seen how it helps you, right? You've seen how treating people even. There could be someone that is so loyal to you right now that you've just had a good experience with them maybe in 2014. Maybe you helped them get into a club or you gave them a drink or you just said hi.
I know.
And they're like, I'll remember this forever.
And the thing is too, I know you probably feel the same way, I'm sure all too, but when people come out, they expect a certain energy from you. And the way you act determines the way their night goes. If you're not in the mood, they're gone in a night.
I tell this guy all the time, there's been some nights where it's like, dude, if I drink tonight, this could be it for me. This could be the last one. This could be the last one. If I drink tonight, tomorrow might not be. But it's more about now.
He got pylons in his car.
You care so much now about what these people are feeling and thinking and experiencing that you're like, you know what? Suck it up.
I gotta do it
because there's not only me anymore that's not going to have a good time, but 100 people are not going to have a good time if I'm not having a good time. So like those are things where entrepreneur steps in. It's like, yo, you're a boss. You got to do this.
Yeah, this is for the brand. This is for the business. We're drinking.
I want to say this. I want to say we're at our longest episode ever. And I mean, I think we could go for like another 4 or 5 hours and we'll definitely have you guys back.
No, next time we're going to door.
Next time we're going to door.
100%.
Hold on. Before, because I agree with what Conrad said. Before you cut.
No, I'm not cutting.
How much time do we have?
It's unlimited, but I mean, like, hey, fuck.
I think it's fair to know, as well as the 4 of us are here, because I don't think we've ever like mentioned it before, especially like in the same setting, that a lot of the stuff that me and Conrad have been able to do with whether it be Door 3, whether it be promotions, whether it be shows, music, the relationships that we have, you know, we learned and got from Ernesto. And I feel like it's time. I feel like I don't think we've ever, we've never. Sometimes you gotta do it.
We were in a position where when we first met Ernesto seemed like he had everything together and it was figured out. And it was like,
I remember going to his office, we're meeting with Ernesto.
But it was one of those things. It was one of those things where it was inspiring because it was just like, you know, again, we were just going with the flow for the longest time. And then, like, you know, he had the nice little office on Spadina and he had the whole team. And so, you know, we showed up and we're like, all right, Steph, we got to rethink everything we're doing here because, you know, we got to be like on this level.
But again, and it was not only the confidence that he exerted, I feel like when he spoke about things, but also his willingness to open up. Because, like, again, not to get too into it.
Just to help we
started with Ernesto at Bloke. Right? Before that, we were working with him at EFS. We went from Bloke to Door 3 because Ernesto went to Door 3 on Saturdays. Right? Our pay at Door 3 was the standard $10 a head that Ernesto could have ripped us off.
Anybody who
bleep that up. That anybody else could have said, hey, Steph Con, you know what? You guys are getting 7, blah, blah, blah. And taken rip. You know, and Ernesto always kept it straight and narrow because again, I think he knows
He always took care
the
of us
value
too.
of
It was a long term. It was a long term.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've had these conversations, us three, where, you know, there's people that have worked under us that again, we've looked at and said, how can I take from you? Because I want to see this through and I want to grow. And
I want to hear stories
grow.
where like people get screwed over, and again, like it changes their life dramatically. Or again,
Yeah.
like you have so much trust in somebody, and it's just like one day you find out that it's like
They've been fucking you over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like you know what I mean.
And I think too, that's why we've been able to be so close over the last, 4 years, whatever the fuck it is.
Imagine I was taking $2 a head off you guys.
Bro, it would've been hilarious.
Okay, and to make an extra maybe $500.
Yeah.
And then look back at it, and we wouldn't have a relationship.
Like,
It's
Darrell,
literally
like,
what it is.
this guy.
It's literally, you know what it is. Oh my God.
That's another Pentos by now.
You know what it is, like the from when I met you guys, I knew that you guys were in it because you guys were passionate about it. And I've been in positions, and so have you guys, where you guys have been ripped off, and you guys didn't feel like the best kind of people after that, obviously. And I've been in positions like that too, and I never wanted to put that in your face because, bro, you guys are fucking gems, and I noticed that from the start, right? So, bro, the fuck.
Yeah, listen, me too. Obviously, I'm where I am for sure. A big part of, because of Ernesto, he's taught me a lot too. He's been like an older brother to me, even though we are business partners. And I agree with you guys, is what this guy done has been incredible. And what he's been able to do, and I know what he'll continue to be able to do, is huge.
yeah.
A lot of people can learn from, the guy that he is and the way that he treats people, even that he doesn't know.
For sure.
So maybe on that, we'll take a shot.
Oh yeah.
To cheers.
Cheers to fucking show.
And
Wow.
You down that, eh? You're a good guy.
wow, it's been a while, bro. Oh my God.
I'm almost falling off the chair.
On that note, guys, up above we'll have everyone's app.
Yeah, Door 3,
Legendary.
Calabrese,
At Door 3.
Conrad, Credit Studios.
Too much.
You want to start doing the points?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the points because we always have to do the points.
We gotta do the points.
Well, first of all, shout out Dean.
There you go.
Let's go.
That's huge.
At Dean Offset Talk, because you know what's good.
Yeah.
At Anthony Sorella. At Ernesto Gaita. At Calabrese.
There you go.
And at and at Conrad Calabrese.
There you go.
Up
Yeah.
there. Oh, and also at Jet Set.
Yep. Just forever.
At Jet Set Forever. And at Door 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
we'll get all the ads.
Yeah.
We'll get them all. There's so many. But
Jukebox.
shout out Shops. Shout out Shops. Oh my God, not that. Shout out Shops. She's killing
Shout
on
out
the
Kevin G.
editing. Shout out Kevin G. We'll put his ad as well.
Shout out Kevin G.
Put his ad.
Nick Jacks.
I was like, what's there? I'm like, holy shit, the amount of people that have come in and out in the last 5 years, wow.
Yeah, but you know what, Keith? Not to get back into it, but that's a testament to.
But we're still here.
100%.
We're still here, baby. On that note,
If you can't keep up,
One out there.
we're motherfucking out.
Don't get everything is true.